Button up! It's time for a cross-stitch tutorial where I show you how to add buttons to your cross-stitch on this awesome Snowballs for Sale pattern. So let's get started. These are the buttons we're going to be adding today, and you'll see that it's a great way to add dimension to your cross-stitch piece. To attach our buttons, we're going to use the called for thread that you used within the Snowballs for Sale pattern. You can either use the colors that match the buttons or just use the white, and I'm just going to use the white. I'm going to use a size 26 needle because that's the one that I use to stitch my piece. So whatever needle you use when you're stitching your piece, use that for your buttons. You don't need a specialty needle. For the buttons, Lori used an assortment from her cute little button bags. If you want to just buy one, you could start with the Granny Chic button since it has an assortment of sizes. So I've selected the buttons I want to use, and I just have them in order here so it's easy to get them. And I'm just going to use white thread. Join my two ends, thread my needle, and we're going to attach our buttons, and we're going to start off with the loop method, and that will give us 2 strands as you're stitching and save time when you put your buttons on. So since I have these in order, this button is going to go at the top, and I'm going to just reference my pattern and look at the placement, and there's different ways you can attach your button. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up where I think the placement guide is on my pattern, put the needle through one hole. So I'm basically doing a cross stitch with a button. It looks really good. I think it's right in the center. So go to the back, put your needle through your loop, and it's ready and nice and secure. I'm going to go back over here, and I want to do the next stitch down to do the cross stitch. So I kind of peek to the back, put my needle down into the next stitch, pull to the front, and just peek in the back. And you're basically making a cross stitch on the front. And it looks perfect. So I'm going to leave that one, and I'm just going to keep going down. And each of the buttons you can attach different ways. So this one, we're going to do an up and down stitch, but you could do a cross stitch. I'm just going to change it up for variety. And I'm going to look at my pattern for placement, and it's going to go over this one. So now I'm going to just travel down to the next stitch, and I'm going to do stitches that go up and down. So I'm going to work on this side of the stitch and this side, and you don't need to secure it any more than the loop, so you can put it back through the button and back down. Just hold your button in place, and you could go over this one more time if you would like, but I think it looks nice and clean with just the 2 strands. And you're just going to be peeking to get it nice and in the right spot. And it's there, and then what you'll do is just pull your thread from the back, and it'll stay nice and secure, and then I'm just going to keep going. Now this one, I'm going to go back to the cross stitch, and there are 2 sides to this button. There's a flat side and a pretty side, so I'm going to use the pretty side. Bottom left, top right, and then go right in that top right. And then that looks nice and even, and then go down. So you can secure it anyway. This, I'm just doing different stitches in here just for variety. And because you have 2 strands, it's pretty tight. Just pull it. And then we'll move to the 4th button. And this button we're going to do up and down, and I'm going to do a couple of stitches across. And after you're done, if you want to just move them around a little bit, and they're not meant to be perfect. They look great, lots of colors. You can see my stitches adding the buttons are just right here. What I like to do is I'm just going to run this through just like I would my cross stitch. I'll probably do 7 stitches instead of 5. Pull it taut and then cut. So adding buttons is as simple as that. So that's how I attach buttons to my cross stitch. I hope you've learned a thing or two, and I would love for you to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss any of our videos. See you next time.